It's one of those nights where I felt a very deep calling, a very deep pull to talk to you. It's going to be a very important topic. Your life is always worth living. Stick around. Stay with us. I have been through many dark nights of the soul where I thought that I wanted to die, that I didn't have anything worth living for. And in hindsight, I've come to some pretty important realizations, and I'm going to share that with you. First thing is, if you're feeling like life is not worth living, there is no guilt and there is no shame in that sensation. It's actually a very normal part of this human experience, and it's actually very necessary. If you truly want to evolve, then you need to face that feeling and face that sensation, because a part of you certainly wants to die. A part of you needs to die, and your soul knows this. But it's not you, and it's not the end of this physical experience for you. That's not the answer. There's literally a 1 in 400 trillion chance of you existing on this floating rock in the middle of space. And it is a profound gift. You are here for a purpose. It is absolutely not an accident. There were seasons of my life where I needed to hear this. And how I heard it was not conventional. It wasn't through a YouTube video. It wasn't through a friend. Because no one knew I was going through what I was going through. It came from spending time in solitude. I was going within, unintentionally at the time, but I was just sitting there with my eyes closed, deeply breathing, feeling all the sensations of loss and grief that I was feeling within myself. The feelings of an old identity dying, and it felt like I was dying. What I didn't realize that this was a huge part of my evolution. Anytime you feel the need to die, anytime you're struggling with maybe suicidal ideations, there is something within you that is trying to emerge. And your soul is sick and tired of playing a character that it knows is not you. And it is inviting you to go deeper into the sensation and let those pieces of you die. This is oftentimes in spirituality what they call an ego death experience. But many people are having an ego death experience and they just think, oh, I'm suicidal, there's something wrong with me, let me take a bunch of medication, let me numb myself with vices. There's something deeper going on within you. You were put here for a reason, and you can't even begin to imagine the purpose that is trying to emerge within you. If you found your way to this video, it is not coincidence, it is not an accident. It is something we call synchronicity, which is a divine happening, something that happens at the perfect timing, at a pivotal moment in your life, right when you need it. And tonight I was just sitting in my house, immediately struck with this feeling of talking to you. And so here we are. So I want to put a couple other things into perspective for you. In this human experience, on this journey, there are phases. Many people on this planet right now, a lot of men, are living from the place of victimhood. Why is this happening to me? Why is the world this? Why is the world so dark? If only people could see how hard my life is, they would understand. So this stage of victimhood is a part of the process. A video like this, maybe motivational speakers, could bring you potentially and inspire you to the next stage, which is the stage of empowerment. When you wake up and you say, wait a minute, I'm in control. I have the power to make different choices. I have the power to define my identity and be the person that I know deep down I'm meant to be. And in that sense, there's a waking up to empowerment where you start to step away from the idea of victimhood. And that's a very, very important phase in the evolution. But for many people, it's not enough. You'll feel really good for a season in that time of empowerment, but then the next stage, which a lot of men don't get to, they stay stuck at, this is where a lot of men who gain a lot of success and money and external achievement from the empowerment phase, they realize that there's still a void within, and then you end up going to the next stage. You get this spiritual hunger, this desire to transcend everything, and then you start to find truths like, wait a minute, I'm thinking all these thoughts. Am I the thinker of my thoughts, or am I the one aware of my thoughts? Am I the body? Am I the mind? And you start to dabble a little bit more in those transcendent levels of spirituality. Maybe you go deeper into meditation. Maybe you take plant medicine and have an experience directly with a divine presence that you can't even put into language. On the other side of that is the peace that you're looking for. Everything you're looking for is not an achievement. It's not in money. It's not in women. It's not in the validation or acceptance of other people. What you've been searching for this whole time, my friend, is yourself. And reaching this place is what essentially healed me of those thoughts of feeling like I didn't want to be here anymore, that I wanted to self-delete. It peaked for me at the end of my marriage when I had this traditional marriage. I have a son, and I was very attached to that traditional idea of my son having both of his parents. But the reality of it was that his mother and I, we were just on very two separate places in our journey. And when all of that ended, I had to come to terms with a lot of things. And that's when all of the ego deaths started to surface, the dark nights of the soul. And I started to ask myself these deeper questions. And instead of self-deleting, I just sat with the sensation. Let that feeling of death overtake me. My whole world's ending. My whole idea of the person that I thought that I was, watching it die and disappear. On the other side of it was bliss, freedom, joy, clarity, and love. Not just for myself, but for other people too. You can't really love another person until you learn how to deeply love yourself. All of the dark corners, all of your shadows, everything about you that you feel ashamed about or guilty about, shining the light of awareness on those things, coming to terms with them. This is ultimately what alleviates us from that feeling of not wanting to be here anymore. And I'm actually grateful in hindsight that I went through all the things that I went through. My father committed suicide when I was 17 years old, when he felt like his entire identity, his entire world was falling apart. He was facing legal action. He was facing the loss of his good reputation in the community, and he ended his life. And I often wonder what it would have been like if he just stuck around, faced all of those things, let his identity die, and found redemption within himself and the true essence and being of who he was the whole time. So, my friend, stick around, stay with us, fight the urge to go down the path of nihilism and fatalism. The mind, the ego, is a fucking liar. In Christianity, we call it the enemy. We call it the devil. But the only devil that you're wrestling with is in your mind. It is your ego. It is the part of your mind that thinks that all of this is your identity. This life is very temporary. It's like a vapor. It's here one moment and gone the next. And so that idea of dying before you die, making peace with how temporary everything is, you become free on the other side of that. And then you can live your life and be who you truly are with authenticity. So, if you found your way to this video and you're struggling with these kinds of thoughts, I have no doubt that you're going through a lot of pain. But stay with it. Stay with the intensity. Stay with us. You're here for a purpose. I can only speak about these things because I have been through the same darkness. And I've come out the other side of it. And now I'm at a place where I can speak to you with this level of certainty and groundedness because I've been through hell. Carl Jung has a quote, something along the lines of, the only way to reach heaven is for your roots to dig into the depths of hell. And then you can ascend. And that's what's trying to happen within you. So, stay with it. Go within. If ever in life you've gotten that feeling like you're meant for something more, like you are the one, it's because you are. You are the one. And the ego is going to interpret that a very specific way. But every single one of us here are the same consciousness wrapped up in a different body. It's like a different prism of the infinite intelligence that put everything in place here. So that feeling like you're meant for something more is absolutely accurate. You are. It's not an accident that you're here. A quick practice that I want to give you if you're in the depths of darkness right now. If you're having trouble with meditating, sit down, put pen to paper, write everything down that you're feeling, everything you're going through, no matter how dark. Put how you feel hopeless or you feel lost or whatever it might be. You can even write it down in detail. After you write it down, wait a couple days and then come back to it and read it as if you're reading the journal entry of a stranger. And now imagine if that stranger was someone close to you that you cared about. Maybe your own son, maybe a friend. And think exactly what you would want to give to that person to help pull them out of the depths and help them see who they truly are. And now turn that inward and give that to yourself. And I promise you that you will find all the answers you're looking for. On the other side of all the pain, all the darkness, all of the identities that want to die is your true self. I hope you feel seen. I hope this helps you tonight. You are loved. You matter. And you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.
It's like we're losing what was calloused underneath the sun, where all we have is us.